Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Success Podcast. I have with me a very special guest here today. I got to know you first when we were at Sun together. We worked in radio together. And now this was back, I think about 4 5 years back. And now you've gone on to do great things. You're a social media influencer, you're a musician, you're doing great things in life. Very nice to have you
Thanks.
here, Amaya.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me here.
No problem. My pleasure. How's it going?
It's good. Everything's going good. A lot better than when we first met, but everything's good. And I see everything's good with you also. Really happy about that.
Awesome, awesome. So, Amaya, now before we get started, let me give you a quick context as to who this audience is that we are speaking to, right? Now, the audience that follows my channel is mainly an audience that either can't speak English well and wants to learn, or it's an audience that can speak English well but is afraid to speak in front of an audience, right? So, mainly the objective that I want to cover is now you come from a bit of an English speaking background, right? How has the English language been beneficial to you as you have moved up in your career?
So for me, a lot of the things that I've done has heavily been on the English side of things. So even school, I purposely chose the English syllabus and stuff. Any job opportunity or anything that I did, um, there was a lot of English involved in that. So I would purposely choose things where I would need that skill. So it's like I had been doing it since I was small. I didn't really have to pick and choose. The way things aligned for me, I was very inclined to the whole English speaking side of things. If that makes sense?
Talk to me a bit about your school life. When you got started, did you follow through in the same school? Did you change schools? What was that like?
So first I started out in Museus. I started from grade 1 to 7. Grade 1 and 2 we had Sinhala medium, but then it came up that if you want you can do a test and switch to English. So I was like, for me, I'm not proud to say this, but English was easier for me.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, let me take the test and just switch over. I got like 98 out of 100 for that. And since then I had been doing English. In grade 7 I switched over to Gateway College,
Was there
where
a particular reason for that switch?
yes, so it had more opportunities. That school had more opportunities than Museus. Museus is a very competitive school, and they give more priority, I'd say, to like teachers' kids or past pupils' kids. So a lot of normal kids who just enroll there don't really get a lot of opportunities to even do sports, to take part in extracurriculars. But in Gateway, that wasn't the issue. I did everything that I wanted to do, which helped me a lot. So I know that whatever I ended up doing out of school, after school, my time at Gateway really helped me get to that place where I could do all those things.
What were the extracurriculars you did when you were in Gateway?
I was in the choir. I did sports. I swam. I did badminton. I did rowing. I took part in these inter-house, every single inter-house thing. Because Gateway provided everything. You had everything. You can do anything you want. So for inter-house, I took part in like football, inter-house drama, and just whatever was there. Because everyone had to do something at some point. And that was a good place to even just try out what you want to do, which I think is important. A lot of people don't get to do things, so then they don't know what they can do, or they're always afraid to do it. But in Gateway, they kind of forced you into it subconsciously, slowly. So you end up doing everything. So everyone gets a bit of those well rounded skills that you need to have in day to day life, I'd
Was
say.
it competitive at Gateway as well?
Not as much as Museus. So, like I said, in Gateway, everyone got to do whatever they wanted to do. So, if let's say half the people in the school were doing a sport, there'd still be space for the other half. You know, no one was not given the opportunity to do something. Everyone was actually encouraged to try out whatever you wanted to do. In Museus, though, it's like I remember I think they had like a raffle draw situation to get into sports, and that was insane. That if I stayed there, I don't think I would be half the person I am today. No offense. Just I would not have that build up, that space to kind of build myself up in that school.
How did you find the time to do all of, because you mentioned about 4 sports.
Yeah, so I mean, woke up at 4, swimming in the morning, and then school. And after school, there was choir. I stopped swimming after a while. I swam since I was like 6 till I was 12. I hated it. But I really liked rowing. So I got into rowing. I started in Muses, continued in Gateway. So rowing in the morning and afternoon, and then choir on Thursdays. And then if I had tuition class, then that was afterwards. But I don't know, at that point, you just found a way to do it, you know? Like, you had so much energy at that point. Everyone does so much when they're in school.
That's true. And you have unlimited energy to keep doing whatever you want.
Yeah, on zero sleep sometimes, just waking up at like 3, 4 in the morning to go run somewhere, and then running again the evening. It was crazy.
And you never ran out of that willpower also. And now you wake up at 3 in the morning, you're like, okay, by the time it's 9 o'clock, you want to sleep.
I think it's because like then you felt like you had no choice. You know, you felt like you had to do it. Not in a bad way, in a like just get up and do it way. But now we're like, hey, like let's take some time. Self-care days, which are not bad, but I feel like me included, people have gotten a lot lazier than when they were younger. That's because we have a lot of free time now, you know. We don't have to do everything that we did.
That's true. What happened after school? Was it right after school that you joined
Yeah.
media?
So right before my last A-level exams, I was like, I do not want to be at home after exams. I need to get a job. And I applied to Sun FM like a month before my A-levels. I ended up going for 3 interviews and I got the job. So May 11th, I had my last A-level exam. I started working on the 12th of May, literally the very next day.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was the experience there? What was it like working with me?
Working with you, I'd see you like maybe twice a week. You'd come, you'd walk in, just holding your papers, like, and I'd be like, "Hi, Shashank, hi," and you're like, "Oh, hi," and you were just in your own world.
That's
But
true.
okay, for real though, I really liked it because I think for me it was something that I had wanted to do since I was a kid. You know, you when you're like small and you have those random jobs where you're like, I wish I could do this. Like I know after watching Dora, being an animal explorer was one of those things. And when I started listening to the radio, you just hear those people and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that. So when I saw the job vacancy come up, I was like, should I do it? Like just to kind of satisfy that inner child.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it was very fulfilling. I got to do something I had kind of dreamed of as a kid. The workload was very heavy, but overall, I think I'm grateful for the experience.
It's quite an experience, isn't it? Because, like you said, when we are younger, when we hear someone on radio or we see someone on TV, they seem like a celebrity. It seem out of this world.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
remember when I used to go to school, so we didn't have like Apple CarPlay or Spotify or anything. We just had the radio.
Yeah.
And we used to always listen to Sun or Kiss at that point. And I remember in Sun FM, there was this guy called Kid West. And they used to talk in these crazy accents. And I genuinely thought these were white people talking on Sri Lankan radio.
Yeah.
The day I started working at Sun FM, I found out Kid West still works there. And I was like, oh my gosh, the man I've been listening to since I was 6, I'm about to meet him. It was like such a surreal moment.
Yeah.
Just found out he's just a normal dude. No accent, and but he's a fun dude. But
Yeah.
you know, I realized how much we kind of glamorize them, and it was kind of cool to see the people that I've been listening to since I was small. Just
And
see
then
them
you
in real
got
life.
to be one of those people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to some people, to someone out there.
Did you have any experiences where people come up to you and say, hey, are you this person, this person?
I did. So when I was working in radio, there were a few actually. Very sweet people, very shy. They'd come up and be like, "Oh, you're Arya from Sun," because my on-air name was Arya, and I'm like, "Yeah." And they'd ask for a picture, be like, "Oh, I'm your fan," and then they'd mostly call and message on the hotline. So there's this one little girl who was about 12. She'd call me every single night on my show, and for the entire show, she'd just be talking to me, and you have to answer the phone, you know, like it's a rule. You have to answer
Yeah,
the phone. So I would spend most of my nights talking to this girl while working on the station, which
yeah.
is sweet though.
It's a nice
I liked
experience.
it.
What was the
Yeah.
best compliment you got? Do you remember?
I think my accent is real because I would put on an accent.
Yeah.
After hearing them put on those American accents, I was like, there's no way I'm going on here without an accent. And so I did, and everyone thought my accent was real. And I remember we used to go on TikTok lives. So on the live, I talked to the people, and then I'd switch over to going on air. And people would wait for the moment that I do that, and because they'd be looking forward to like the accent switch. They'd be
Mm-mm.
like, I'm talking to them normally, and they'd be like, okay, she's going on air, she's gonna switch her accent, and then I immediately switch to like, la la la, and they looked forward to it, and they always were amazed by it, which I really liked.
Mm. Was the accent necessary though?
Honestly, to me, I think it was
Mm.
because, but that's only if I view it the way I viewed radio as a child.
Mm.
Radio is very different now. It's not as great as it was, but a part of that crazy charm that it had was those accents, I'd say. Like, people listened to them because of how they spoke English, because of how posh they sounded. It's not the best thing because I'd say, like, it's not a natural Sri Lankan thing, but it was also something people could listen to improve themselves. I know I learned how to do those accents only because I listened to radio. Otherwise, I would have no idea how to do it. So I'm talking like this now, but I can switch over if I wanted to, which I'm not gonna do. It's kind of, but it's like, okay, if I could do it, how many other people are learning that way? Because
Mm.
it would benefit you at some point. Now, radio is not as great as it was, but I just kind of did what I learned as a kid. I treated my job the way I thought, the way I viewed it when I was a listener. So I was
Mm.
like, what did I expect as a listener? And I tried to put that out. And I think I did that for the better part.
Do you think people can pick up the English language by listening to radio?
Yes, for sure. I feel like the more English media you consume, the better. I know that that's what I did, for sure.
Did you ever struggle with communication in front of an audience? Were you someone that was afraid of public speaking?
Yeah, I was shy. I was quite introverted actually. But you just have to do it, you know? Like once you start doing it, it gets easier, always. But until you do it, it's never gonna be easy.
Hmm.
So I remember the first day I started working at the radio station, it was like I was terrified of being in front of the mic. And they were like, you have to talk. We only had to talk for 30 seconds. But it's like, what could I say in those 30 seconds? You can say a lot in 30 seconds, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, if you worked in radio ever, you would know how much you need to fit in to just like
Talk for
45
30
seconds.
seconds, yeah.
But if I never did that, if I never actually just spoke up, I would not have that job and my life would be quite different now. And yeah, I'm just glad that eventually I came up with the strength and I was like, well, said whatever I had to say. Because after that, it became so easy. Like, well, now it's fine. But sometimes when I'd be at the show early in the morning after working in the night, I'd be sleepy. So I just, in between the time I talk, I just nap and I just wake up, just quickly speak and just go back to sleep. Like, it gets to that point where you are confident enough to do that. You just have to keep doing it for that to happen.
You have to be comfortable and face what you are afraid of to
Yes.
be able to be good at what you do.
Yeah, and when you're in that place where you feel confronted, you need to relax. If you never relax when you start doing it, you will never know how to. Obviously, once you step out for the first time, the nerves get to you. Everyone's just watching, or you are just nervous no matter what. You're scared, you're afraid. But you can do it afraid. That's one thing. But if you don't learn how to calm down in that moment and how to kind of assure yourself and be like, it's okay, like it's chill. It's not that you won't be able to do it, but you won't be able to kind of develop that skill. Anyone can do anything while they're afraid. For example, if somebody had to like skydive off a cliff, they do it, but do you actually enjoy it when you're afraid? You know, you end up doing it and you're like, oh, I did it. Cool. I'm never doing it again. But if you take a moment to calm down and kind of just look around, you're like, wow, look at these views. Like, this is actually really nice. Look at the wind on my face. Like, my face is going everywhere, but I'm actually enjoying this. So it's important to jump in and to kind of calm down and settle in to what you're doing.
Have you made any mistakes on air?
Yeah, for sure. So many. One that I remember is when I switched from Sun to Fox. There was a big gap in between, but I had worked at Sun FM for a year and I'd been listening to Sun FM since I was 6. I was at Fox, I memorized their phone numbers, whatever, but obviously I enter flow state when I start talking. And on the Fox radio, I said Sun 989.
No way.
And I said the Sun FM numbers and I stopped halfway and I was like, how silly am I? Oh, I meant this number. Like, that's the thing though. If I freaked out about it, people would have noticed. But if I just treat it casually, then everyone
Did you
treats
get
it
in
casually.
trouble for it?
No.
Really?
Because it was in the morning. I did the morning show.
Okay.
All the bosses were asleep. So that was, but I did inform my boss.
Yeah.
Like my immediate boss, and I was like, hey, this happened.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I took care of it. And he was like, okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Man, I remember if we made mistakes on news, we used to get fined.
So bad. Because the thing is, in news, it's like you can hear the mistake.
And people are attentively listening. You know,
Yeah.
like people want to know what happened during the day.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake on air, that's
Especially during that time that we were there, like that's when all the riots and everything was happening. So
Yes.
making a mistake was kind of costly.
Yeah, that was a crazy time.
Have you made any mistakes?
Yes. So I made a very bad mistake once.
Okay.
This was during election time. And we had to give election results and I had to say elections commissioner.
Okay.
Right? So now on this particular day, I had gone for a drama practice and I had come to work. So I had not slept the night before and I had come for the morning bulletin. And in this particular script, the word elections commissioner was there 3 times.
Okay.
And for elections commissioner, I read electronics commissioner 3 times.
Oh, what did they say?
I got blackguarded.
So wasn't the person who was there with you, didn't they point it out?
No. That because he's not paying attention. I mean, all he's doing is just monitoring the controls.
True.
I didn't even know I made a mistake till I went back up and I got blasted.
Damn.
That was crazy. But I had a very nice boss. So he kind of
Shaped it out.
Yeah, didn't let it go out of proportion, but
You're
handled
lucky.
it. Yeah,
Your boss was kind.
it was very nice.
My boss.
No, I had a great experience working there because I think it's mainly attributed to my boss because he made the work environment very relaxed. He always gave us leeway to do things outside of work.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I had the complete opposite experience. I'm surprised to hear that.
Yeah,
But it's okay. Different departments.
different departments. No, because he knew that so myself, all my other co-workers, most of them were doing things out of work, right? And so it was tough for us to stick to like a 9 to 5 schedule or sometimes 6:30 to 2:30 schedule. So we'd always have to go out in between and so on. It was very accommodating.
Yeah, I remember you just show up randomly on a weekend and then on a weekday evening. And I'm like, wow, when are you coming next? And I try to guess like every day, like, is Shashank coming in today? Is any other people coming in today? And usually if I'm right, I'm satisfied. It's like a little game I played.
All right, everyone, just a quick reminder here that if you are someone that is struggling to speak in front of an audience, if you are someone that gets nervous when you see a large group of people, if you don't have the right vocabulary when you have to speak in English, and if you go, every time you see a crowd, make sure to sign up to our public speaking classes. We have both online and physical classes. You can choose which one you want to join. But one thing I can guarantee is that if you sign up to our classes, you will be the most confident speaker that you have ever been. You will never say again. You'll speak as confidently as you possibly can, and you will be the best public speaker that you have the potential in yourself to be. So give me a call on the number below and I will help you become a great public speaker. That was a nice experience. But anyway, how did you get into music?
Uh, I have liked music since I was a child. I properly started doing something with it, I think, when I got to Gateway. So in Museus, I was actually in the primary choir for a bit. In Gateway, once I joined the choir, and my choir sir, Sir Nicole, he actually helped me out a lot. In the sense, until that point, like I said, not a lot of opportunities, but he gave every child in the choir the same opportunity. So for example, we had this singing competition called International Schools Choir Competition. Usually you'd select like the best of the best and send them, but he didn't want to do that. He realized it was a competition, so he was like, I do need to do that to a certain extent. But he gave everyone the chance to sing and show, and then he selected. So it's like you have time to prepare, and if you make it, then that's great. But he doesn't like kick them out just because they're not up to that standard. He keeps them on and trains them, does better. And so when it was my turn to audition, I went, I sang, and that he noticed that I could sing, and he helped me kind of develop that further. He gave me more opportunities for solos, for whatever. I did have to audition and be fair, but it's like once you audition in front of everyone and they hear why you got it, then it's easy, you know? It's not favoration or anything. So I really appreciated that about him. He gave me the opportunity, and when I did justice to it, he actually handed it over to me, which helped me grow a lot. So that's how I started. And yeah, that's all I did actually. I was just in the choir.
Really?
Yeah.
And then how did you get into singing professionally?
That also is because of this. When I left Sun FM, I was kind of bored at home. And then he called me one day and he said, his uncle has a band. Do I want to join? They're looking for a female vocalist. And I was like, why not? And I joined that band. And it was a good few months of experience. And now I've been in 3 bands since. Now I'm in more in the commercial scene of things. Just, that's just how it started though. He called me and he was like, my uncle has a band. Do you want to sing? And I was like, okay.
How's the whole band scene going? Do you get a lot of gigs? What's happening?
I do. It's very fun. We mostly get weddings. Um, it's very fun. Everyone is drunk. Everyone is having the time of their life. We get people coming on stage and screaming and taking a mic and screaming. But it's a good time. I really like it. I enjoy it.
Do you see yourself pursuing it further in your career?
I'd like to. I don't know what plans I have. I genuinely don't know. But I would like to continue my music regardless of what else I'm doing.
How's the music scene in Sri Lanka?
Now it's quite nice. So for bands, I think I'm lucky that I am in an established band, but bands that are just starting out are actually picking up as well. The only issue is I think the new bands that come in, because they want to get gigs, they price themselves quite low, which for bigger, more established bands, it doesn't make sense to do that. So there's a bit of an issue there, but other than that, everything is quite smooth sailing. I don't really know the other side of the music industry because I'm not in it, but the band part is quite nice. Everyone respects each other. If I go to a gig and there's another band in the other hall, we usually talk and we watch each other perform. I made a lot of friends that way. It's really nice.
Do you sing solo gigs as well?
I don't know, just with the band.
Why is that?
I'm too lazy. I already told you this. Why are you making me like say this again?
What's more lucrative? Is it more lucrative to sing by yourself or is it more lucrative to be with a band?
Um, for me right now, I'd say being with this band is a bit more lucrative. They've set up the system in a way where it's so convenient. I have transport, I have whatever I earn from the gig, and then I have transport back home. Sometimes I have food also. Then there's food at the wedding or whatever we're playing. Like, it's so convenient working with this band. If I were to do it alone, I would not be able to make as much as I'm making right now with the band because I would have to start out again as like a solo singer, you know? and I would have to price myself a bit low, work myself a bit harder. So, because I'm lazy, the band is a better option for me.
Mm. There's a lot of people that are looking to get into the music industry now. Now, you said, okay, certain bands find it easy to pick up gigs because they price themselves low. But I personally feel there's a huge barrier to entry also because the market is so competitive now. There's so many people in it. It's oversaturated, just like with any other market right now. I mean, you look at even the tuition market, which I am in,
Yeah.
it's heavily oversaturated,
Yeah.
right? Comparing, it's the same thing. Any market you try to get into, it's very saturated.
Yeah.
What can someone do to build up the connections they need to really break into this market? Is it that you advertise yourself on social media, you network and build connections? Well, what?
I think advertising on social media is something they can do. I think that's something a lot of people do now because it's just the easiest and cheapest way. So to kind of be known, to kind of show yourself, that is a good way. But just because you put yourself out there doesn't mean people actually know you. So that's where the networking thing comes in handy, because the reason I'm in this band also is because of people I know. It's not because they saw me and they were like, "Oh, she's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, let's get her." It's because I actually met them and I actually spoke to them, and then they interacted with me. They saw what type of person I was. They saw me perform in real life, which is why I'm here. So social media, like, you can use each thing for different parts of what you need. You don't find all the answers in one place. So me, I know I use social media just to put my face out there, but the moment I want things done, I have to go meet people, I have to go talk people, I have to go be like, yes, I am this, but I'm actually more in real life. This is how you would benefit from having me on your side. So for new bands, social media is a great way to publicize themselves because it's cheap. You literally just need to just film a video. There's no way anyone can say they can't do it. Just film a video on your phone, on somebody else's phone, and just put it up somewhere and just keep doing that until you have the means to do better or until it gets picked up. After that, either people will contact you or you can contact people. Me personally, I have not gone and pursued people because thankfully I didn't need to do that. People contacted me. But I know a lot of people who go, they reach out to companies, they reach out to businesses and people, and they're like, this is who I am, this is what I do, can you give me a chance to do this, and I'll do this for you. So that whole networking side of things is important as well. Like you said, the market is quite saturated, but I think the people that have gotten in and that do end up getting gigs, they're really good at talking to these restaurants and be like, give me a spot. Like, that's why I said they'll do a few sessions for free maybe and be like, I'll do it for this small amount. And I know a lot of people who somehow end up getting gigs. They start small, they work hard, and they end up getting what they want to do.
Speaking of social media, now you're quite popular on social media.
Oh my
You're a
gosh.
star.
Oh my gosh. Stop.
How did that come about?
That, do you want like the very beginning? The
Mm-hmm.
very beginning started at Sun FM, surprisingly. I actually was not a TikTok person. I was one of the people that were like, ew, you're on TikTok? That's so embarrassing. But a part of the job role was to make TikToks. I think you must have seen us dancing while you're reading the news. We're just like, eh! But so how it started was we would make TikToks and we'd send it on our WhatsApp work group chat,
Yeah.
and the boss would either approve or not approve it. So whatever TikToks he didn't approve, I'd actually put in some work and make it. So whatever he didn't approve, I just posted on my private profile. And those videos started picking up.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, boss said no, but everyone says yes. And he didn't like that. He was like, why is everyone liking those videos? So now he ended up using every video I made. And I kind of helped grow the Sun FM page also, which was what I was supposed to do. So I did my job. And I just started making extra videos on the side for my private page. And there was a lot of resistance from work, which is why I'm surprised that you had such a great time because The moment I started posting TikToks, they tried everything they could to stop it because they wanted that traction to the Sun FM page. I wasn't trying to grow my page. I was just posting the leftovers, but that somehow picked up. And that's how it started. That's how I started my own page. Within a month, I think I went from like 1,000 followers to like 24,000 or something in the month of December of 2021. Yeah, I remember. And then afterwards, I had a lot of big gaps in between, but I just kept posting videos. That's all I did.
Hmm. How did you start getting brand deals, sponsorships, and so on?
I made a couple of videos that got a lot of views. The first one was this is when I had stopped for a while and I wanted to restart. I went to Barista, and in the washroom they had like sanitary napkins, and I was like, let me make a video about that. It was not the biggest deal, but I was impressed by that. And I made a video because at that point I was trying to see what I could do to get views. I was kind of testing it out because now I know what the people want to see. I was just testing different topics and different styles of content. So I made a video about this sanitary napkin situation, got a lot of views. I think it overnight got like 100,000 views. Everyone was like, wow, they're doing such a great job. And from that, I got like a free gift voucher from Barista for their positive free publicity. And that's how I started getting stuff. I just started posting videos that got a lot of views, and companies are like, let me get in on that. Yeah,
When you were doing, I would say at your peak, how many brand deals were you getting like a month?
a lot. Um, at least that was way too many to count, honestly. At
Really?
one point, I tried to list it down.
Uh,
I think in the month of October 2024, that's kind of when it picked up, October to November, at least 14, 15 brands.
nice.
Yeah,
And
that
these are
was,
big brands as well.
yeah, like, damn, I don't remember any now. Uh, but there was some really good brands. I think recently I did a video for Nor. At that point, I've been doing videos for Sparsilon. Sparsilon was one of the first people to actually pay me for a video, and this was before I became super popular. So shout out to them. They had faith. What other companies? Alarix Ice Cream, um, Ceylon Biscuits Limited.
CBL.
I think I did a video for Manchi. I did for Elephant House. I did quite a few. It was crazy. I had a crazy
Nice.
month.
That's very nice. I mean, how's the popularity coming along with that?
It's nice. A lot of people come up to me every time I go out and they're like, oh my gosh, you're Maya. And I'm like, yeah. And I usually go out on Friday nights, so everyone's just drunk half the time. But so many sweet girls, they come up to me and they're like, oh, I see you on TikTok. And I'm like, hi. And we dance together, we take pictures. It's really nice. I like it.
Do you think, again, same question as the bands, how easy or hard is it to really break into this social media influencer market?
So it depends, honestly. For me, I wasn't trying like that. I mean, I did have an intention, I can't lie. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna try. It was like, I know I can. Which is like,
Wow.
I no, I'm not trying to be like, but it's easy to a certain extent, especially here, because if you present yourself in the right way, if you say the right things, you do the right things, you can be popular just like that.
Is it easier? This may be a controversial question, but is it easier if you're a girl?
I think so. I mean, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of girls who get a lot of views from creepy guys. So, I mean, I know that when I was at Sun and I was like posting like skimpy little videos, all the comments were just from random guys. So it's like, if you want a quick view, just use your things. Like, it's that easy. But
Yeah.
it is easier for a girl. For guys, you have to be good looking, you have to be funny, either one or both. For girls, it's like, if you do the right thing, if you say the right thing, can be a bit easier.
Mm,
But I think both do need to use their brain a little bit on how to use that. Yeah.
now I think in today's environment, it's very, a lot of people are trying to pursue their own thing as opposed to working for a company.
Yeah.
What is your preference on that, and how do you look at it? Because you're quite young,
Yeah.
right? You have quite a future ahead of you. And one thing that working in a company offers you is stability. Okay, for the next 20, 30, 40 years, I have a fixed salary coming in. I'm going to get increments on that salary. I have promotions lined up. Safe path. With what you're doing, yes, you have a good career, but to a certain degree, there's a sense of uncertainty as well. What are the pros and cons of working for yourself?
I can do anything on my own time. That's the best benefit. Uh, for me, I'm doing my own thing and I'm able to kind of do it only because right now I'm not actually depending on it. I still live with my parents. I have space to make mistakes and bounce back. But that's not the case for everyone. So both does have their own pros, both do have their own pros. When I worked at Sun FM, it's like it builds a sort of, how do I say this? When you work for a company, you learn things that you can't learn when you work on your own. And you doing things on your own, you learn things about yourself that you didn't really know. You learn how to handle situations, you pretty much learn how to do everything on your own. It just really depends on what the person is capable of doing, what the person is willing to do, and how they want to spend the rest of their life. I know me personally, and I think you too, like, we could not just be at a desk job every day. Like, I know I'm a spontaneous person. I
Yeah.
have a lot of energy. I want something different every day. So this whole gig lifestyle, to a certain extent, works
And
out for
more than
me.
anything else, the flexibility and the free time
Yeah.
is very valuable. Now, for example, tonight I'm going on a trip.
Really?
Be gone till Sunday, right? Now, if
Exactly.
I was working for a company,
You couldn't do that.
you couldn't do
You have
that.
to like beg for holidays and
Exactly.
find people to cover your shifts. Both does have things you can gain from them, but it depends on the person. You have to be smart about it.
Do you
And
have a sense of uncertainty for the future?
I have no idea what's gonna happen.
What a great answer.
I don't know. No, I genuinely don't. I have never made a plan in my life, and it's
Kids, don't listen.
don't don't try to live like that. I'm not glamorizing it. I'm not saying that's how you should live.
Yeah.
It's just, okay, not that I don't have a plan like that. Right now I'm in a place where I have my gigs coming in. I have the company I work for. We have the work there. And right now I'm just taking some time to explore like personal stuff, to kind of think about what I want to do. I actually have some time to sit down and be like, what do I want to do within this year? But that doesn't mean I have a plan. That doesn't mean I don't have one either. I am thinking. I may not have a plan, but I do have things to do to sustain me. So that's different. It's not that I'm jobless and I'm just wasting time. I'm doing something,
Yeah.
but I have not thought too far ahead yet, unfortunately.
Would you say you've monetized your hobbies?
Yeah, I have. I I just sing for fun. It's when I go, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm doing karaoke. Sometimes I get free alcohol also, so
Yeah.
it's literally just a paid night out. That's what it is to me. And even the whole content creation thing, I love posting things. Since I was in school, I'm just posting, 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 posting. I was like one of those annoying girls. But it's like no one unfollows because what else can you look at, you
Yeah.
know? So that ended up paying me also. So both hobbies that I have are monetized now.
So a lot of people say you have to follow your passion, you have to try and monetize your hobbies, but a lot of people struggle with actually making that a reality, right? But you have already at such a young age managed to do that for yourself, right? But do you think that that is good advice, right? Especially for someone coming out of school, especially for someone that's just about to start their career. Is it wise to start off trying to monetize your hobbies, or is it better to build a foundation in a company and then try to see what you can do a bit later on?
So again, it does depend on the person, because different people, they come from different backgrounds, they come with different assets that they have, different contacts. So for some people, jumping straight into it is definitely easier than having to work in a company and get it going. For me personally, my start happened because I worked in a company. That is, like, I did not do social media until I joined that company. So to each their own, but I'd say it's always better to have something stable while working on your passion,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, you can always fall back. So it's not really a, it's not to say that, oh, it will fail and you'll have this. It's not that at all. But for you to continue this, for you to start, you need money to do what you want to do. You need resources, and to get those resources, you need to feel safe. You need to have your income, you need to have time, and you need to pretty much not worry about everything. Because I remember when you were starting your English academy, there was a lot of planning that went behind it, a lot of thought you put into it. I remember you discussing this with us, like months of thinking and discussing, like, should I do it, should I take this risk, should I do this? And you ended up doing it, which is great. But it would have been more stressful for you if you didn't have those other things that were keeping you grounded. You had that base and you had that security net, not because this would fail, but just to protect yourself. It's not a thing that, that's the thing. Like, when you tell this to people, even I have taken this the wrong way in the past. When you tell them, like, it's good to do something and then do it on the side, people assume it's because people think you're going to fail, so they're just telling you to do this. That's not the case at all. Sri Lankans are not very good at being nice sometimes to their own, so they just don't know how to put it out. But what they genuinely mean is, have something that you can do so that you can do what you want to do safely without having to worry. Because I know people who go all in all at once, and obviously when you're starting something for the first time, you make mistakes, you lose a lot of money, maybe you waste a lot of time doing the wrong thing. It's all a learning experience. But a lot of people fall into a lot of trouble just because they didn't have a bit of security. They didn't have a job to fall back on, or they didn't have something to fall back on. So overall, I think people would benefit from having something and then slowly easing into it, unless they have the means to just jump right in. Then just jump right in.
Now that you have monetized your hobbies, what do you do for fun?
Still the same things. I think recently I went to my friend's birthday party and it was karaoke. It's just now it's different because they're like, oh, do you need to pay to be sing? Like, do we need to pay you? You can't sing for us anymore. And then I'm like, yeah, pull out your wallets. But I go out, I hang out with my friends. What else do I do for fun? That's the thing, like, my work is fun.
Mm.
So even the company that I work for, which is my dad's, I go for the outdoor trainings, and it's things like rafting, canyoning, like, it's all fun things. Everything I do is fun to me. I'm just always having the time of my life. So I think all I do is sleep and just relax at home when I'm not doing that.
Has being able to speak English well given you an edge in what you do?
Yes. There's a lot of singular content creators, but sometimes they need English specifically, so then I kind of stand out. So that's an advantage. In the music side of things, it's not really something that's discussed or spoken like that, but there is a difference when a person can sing an English song or when they can't. Like, the way they pronounce the words, the way the song sounds overall is different when you know how to speak English. So it's like, English people can't sing singular songs properly. It's the same thing. So if you don't know how to speak English, you can't sing an English song. So that's also there. And in my training side, obviously I'm literally training. I have to be talking in English. I have to be talking in Sinhala. Some companies want it in English, some want it in Sinhala. I know both, so that's an advantage there.
How important is it for someone to improve their communication skills, their public speaking skills, to be able to do better in their career?
Mm, I mean, you need to communicate wherever you go. You can't, even if you are just like an IT guy, just like you will have to make some phone calls at some point. So it is very important. Not everyone may need the same level of public speaking, but you need to know how to be able to talk to a person. So even to have a conversation like this, can't be nervous, you know?
Now, for you, English comes naturally, right?
Yeah.
Did Sinhala come the same?
Yeah, not as strong as English, but yeah, because when I was small, I think my parents they told us later on they wanted us to speak English. So at home we'd talk in English, but with my grandparents we talk in Sinhala. So I got a good mix of both. And my parents would talk to each other in Sinhala, so we'd hear that. So it was like a good mix.
Was there any specific things you did, any extra effort you took to improve your communication skills?
I think not on purpose, but uh, like I said, listen to a lot of English radio and I'd mimic their accents, mimic how fast they spoke, what they said. That was one thing I unknowingly did. Listening to English songs, listening to anything English, honestly, consuming media. I read a lot of English books where I learned a lot of words and I loved reading at some point. So just English books over and over again. Learned a lot from that. Watching TV, watching movies, just seeing how they talk, seeing what they say, seeing how they use words in sentences. I didn't do it on purpose. I did it unknowingly as a kid, but I know that that's what has helped me sound like this and talk like this now.
How important is reading? Because even I was an avid reader when I was a kid, and I used to love reading books. I mean, to this day, if I
Yeah.
can get my hands on a good book,
It's
that's it,
over.
it's over.
Yeah.
How important is reading to be able to build up your vocabulary, to be able to communicate better?
I think it's important. Like, I've learned a lot of words just from reading books. One thing is, I never knew how to pronounce half of that, but I learned it later on. But it is important because, okay, let's say you know how to speak, but you go somewhere you can't read a sign. Like, what's the point? I think the way I can kind of speak proper English if I wanted to is because I learned the language that they wrote. Because you write a different English. Like in Sinhala, they have the Liana Bhasha and then they have the speaking stuff. It's the same thing in English. It's just that I feel like Sinhala is way fancier than English. So the whole Liana stuff is like
Yeah, yeah,
way fancier, sounds way more professional.
yeah.
But it's the same thing. If you want to learn how to talk in a professional setting, it's better to just read a bit because that language depends on the book you read, but that language is very similar to how you would have to talk in a professional
Absolutely.
setting.
All right, Amaya, thank you so much for being with us here today. I hope
Thank
you
you for
enjoyed
having
this.
me.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed.
I did, yes.
Fantastic. All right, guys, so that's a wrap for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like our page, share this video with a friend, and let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And most importantly, till our next video, keep practicing.